trailer has just released, and boy is it filled with some secret details. I'm here to tell you 10 details that you missed when watching the trailer. We have to acknowledge that the guys over at Euphoric Bros have done an amazing job of pumping these out. Just a week ago, we already got the teaser trailer for Chapter 3, and we made some theories about that. But this time, we have answers. But don't worry, there's a lot of questions as well. Like, why is Opila's ex-husband helping us out? But let's just jump straight into this thing. Detail number 1, transformations. Now, if you weren't an excited goober and you were paying attention to the thumbnail of the trailer, you would have noticed that banban looks different. Well, half of him looks different. He seems to have gone through a psychotic transformation. And this isn't just for clickbait extra effect. Later on in the trailer, we actually see him chasing us looking like this. He's lost his pupils. He's baring his fangs. And the weirdest detail for me is his hat. On top of his horns, he usually has a party hat, but even that is transformed. It looks like a rotten finger or a peepee. But there's something else we also have to acknowledge. These tentacles are very conveniently placed behind banban, almost in an influential way. It almost makes me think that Stinger Flynn's tentacles are the reason why banban looks like this. Is there a way Stinger Flynn can influence other mascots? You know, to go through this transformation. But I've got a bit more detail about Stinger Flynn that we'll get into later. And now on to detail number 2, the back rooms. Right off the bat, one of the first scenes we see in the trailer is this. Big boy Zolphius, Stinger Flynn, and a brand new mascot, a car. Vehicle Victor is what he's called. Just kidding. But anyway, the scenery is what's weird. We're at a beach with some sun, water, and sand. And we know the later chapters occur deeper in the facility. So the only explanation for this is that we're in the goddamn back rooms. In particular, level 48, the infinite sand. And we know this isn't the first time that we've seen a reference to the back rooms. I mean, I've always personally thought that the game was heavily influenced by the back rooms. We see it in all of the other chapters. For me, especially this room. Anyway, on to detail number 3. Stinger Flynn is playable. Now, that's not a secret detail you would have missed, but it's the details around it that I want to talk about. Firstly, Dat Boy's got some powers. I mean, look at this scene here. He uses them to jump and also shoot something out. This backs up the earlier detail that I mentioned that maybe Banban was influenced by Stinger Flynn's powers, and that's what turned him into the savage beast he is here. But that is still just a theory because the powers that we see over here are shooting and jumping. Nothing like mind control yet. And then there was something else that I noticed. Look at the shape of the tentacles. They also look exactly the same as the tentacles that are behind Banban. Definitely confirming that it's Stinger Flynn behind him, potentially pulling the strings. I mean, they're at the exact same angle. And the last weird detail about Stinger Flynn's appearance, we're back at the beach level. This was in Chapter 2. And if we know anything about Chapter 3, we're going a lot lower and deeper into the facility. So why is it that when we play as Stinger Flynn, we're back up here? Maybe this is from a different timeline, showing what Stinger Flynn did in the past. Anyway, we'll find out soon enough. Detail number 4, Opila saves you. Well, not Opila exactly. We know that that might be her husband. We can tell simply because it's blue. And this isn't the first time that we've seen this character. The first time was actually in Chapter 1. Well, not during the gameplay. It was when you hacked the game and went out of bounds. And then the second time was when we saw his blue sun in Chapter 2. I always had a suspicion that Opila was mucking around with another bird. And then the third time was in the teaser trailer a week ago. Some smart little goobers out there noticed that the eyes on this bird look different. And we knew that Opila's eyes glow. These ones glowing blue. So people started to assume and theorize that this was the blue Opila bird appearing. Lo and behold, they were right. And what's crazier to me is that it's a good Opila bird. But we gotta give him a name. We can take the Nab-Nab route and just make the name backwards. We can call him Alipo. Yeah, you know what? You're Alipo now. On to detail number 5. Sheriff Toadster is gonna be in this chapter. Let me explain this one a little bit, because we don't actually see him in the trailer. But throughout the trailer, we see a bunch of drawings on the ground, crayon drawings. And every character other than Sheriff Toadster has been seen in the game so far. Also, there's this level over here that's full of water lilies. You know, those flowers you see floating in a pond where you can usually find frogs and toads. And on top of that, in the background, you can see Toadster's jail, making me think that it might be a timeout sort of area. You know, for all the naughty kids. I'm personally quite excited because I think he's gonna look horrific. Look at that terrifying big mouth of his. I did think it was a little bit weird that he was introduced in the previous chapter but wasn't even shown there. So I'm pretty sure it's due time for him to appear. Anyway, on to detail number 6. The children are still alive. Now, I know this is a big call, but bear with me. Like I mentioned before, there's a bunch of crayon drawings on the ground. And you can even see some of the crayons strewn around on the floor. The drawings even look fresh to me. I think that's evidence that the kids just drew these. On top of that, they're all positive drawings, well, other than Slow Celine, of course. It's almost like the children are being entertained by the mascot, so I'm assuming that they're safe. It even looks like Banban is playing some music for them, probably to calm their nerves. Which would lead to some children that are being held hostage to draw, maybe. Anyway, on to detail number 7. What the hell is this? Again, this might be a little bit of a stretch, but look, it doesn't look like the other things in this picture. It's smoother than other concrete roof structures. And the last time we were in a dark, big space like this with a bunch of doors, we met Big Daddy Zolphius. Let me remind you that when the Chapter 2 trailer came out and we saw Big Zolphius, people thought he was just a pipe, just part of the furniture. And I wonder whether they're playing that trick again here. I just really hope it's not Zolphius' big tongue or something like that preparing to eat us up. To put it simply, I trust nothing and nobody anymore in this world. Everything can become a monster that's trying to eat your ass. Anyway, on to detail number 8. There's a new mascot, the purple kangaroo. I know it's kind of got the face of a mouse, but look at that pouch. There's little babies in there. Look at their ugly little creepy eyes. And hear me out. These murals are usually an indication of scale. Therefore, this kangaroo-looking ass monster is going to be huge. Potentially the biggest mascot. But I think there's more to this one because look at that staff and crown. What if this thing is the thing that's running the show? The Overlord, the one that bestows powers on everyone else. The Backrooms entity. Ooh. But you know what we gotta do every time we find a new mascot? We gotta theorize what the name is. Well, because of the crown and the staff, I'm gonna go with King Kangaroo. Ooh, and just as I said that, I thought of another theory. What if the children that we're looking for are in the pouch? I kinda don't even want to entertain that thought because that is a dark, dark way to go. Let's just hope it's just other little king kangaroos in there as well. Otherwise, we're gonna have to rip open its pouch and get those children out. Anyway, on to detail number 9, another new mascot. Just out of frame, Nab Nab 2.0. Man, these guys are just increasing the cost every single time by like 2 or 3. So this one looks exactly like Nab Nab with a couple little changes. Instead of having a party hat on, it has a bow on. A similar method of design was used for Bombalina and Banban, indicating that this thing is going to be the girl version of Nab Nab. So if Nab Nab has a girlfriend, why is he always complaining about how lonely he is? Or what if it's Nab Nab's multiple personalities when he puts that bow on and he just becomes a girl? I don't know. I personally think if there's another Nab Nab out there, he has to stop complaining. And you know the drill, a new mascot, that means we gotta guess the name. I'm expecting all of you to put your names in the comments below, by the way. I'm gonna guess Nabnalina. Same as Banbalina, but Nab Nab version. Okay, on to detail number 10. There's multiple Stinger Flynns. In the final scene of the trailer, we see this enormous Stinger Flynn approach the camera. Now, when we compare this Stinger Flynn to all the other versions of Stinger Flynn that we've seen, it doesn't make any sense at all. I know the mural on the wall is only an indication of scale, but it doesn't show that he's this enormous. And if we go to the gameplay footage, we can see that we're not that big when we play as Stinger Flynn. On top of that, we have a literal scale for reference at the beginning of the video. The car that I was talking about. We can see that Stinger Flynn is just about bigger than a car. But over here on this platform, this Stinger Flynn is as big as Zolphius. What if Stinger Flynn and Zolphius had a baby? Nah, don't forget about it. Look, this isn't the first time that we see variations in the mascots. I mean, remember this version of Captain Fiddles? He's enormous as well. So maybe this is the original, real version of Stinger Flynn, and it could be the one that has the powers. What if this one is the one that turns us into Stinger Flynn? I don't know. I need your help theorizing on this one. Why is there multiple versions, and why is this one so big? And why does it look like it has a bit of a scar on its face? Anyway, I think that's it for now. If you guys notice any other details, make sure to comment them below. Make sure to follow my socials, Eroga Official on everything, and my Let's Play channel, Erosa, because if you don't, this will happen.